Hi. My name is Erica LaShawn. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome. It is April 1st, 11:17 p.m. It's April Fool's Day or whatever. I'm going to get into something different, but I just wanted to say, I don't know if people still do pranks and stuff or whatever. I was going to talk about the origin of April Fool's Day, and it's like April Fool's Holy Day or something like that. It didn't interest me. So I doubt if it would interest you. If so, look it up. However, I recall a April Fool's prank that I played on my mother and my brother years ago. I told them that I was pregnant. So I called my mother. I think I was like in my mid 30s or whatever. And I was like, "Well, mom, ma, I call her ma, and mommy in third person, but I'm like, mom, I had all the pauses ready. I was like, I got something to tell you, you know. And she was like, what? That's how she talked. I was like, well, she on the edge of her seat. I was like, I'm pregnant. And she paused and she said, well, Erica, now how did that happen? I said, Ma, you know how it happened. I said, come on, Ma. Because she know her child. My mother knows me. She raised me or whatever. So she know me, right? So, and she said, she ain't say nothing. She was like, well, I know. Because she know I will turn around and say, Ma, come on now. You know how babies was made, i.e., I was screwing. So don't even do that or whatever. So I couldn't keep her there too long. So I was like, April Fool. She was like, oh, girl. So I was like, okay. So I called my brother, Eric. Hey, I was like, Eric, I said, And my brother has a deep voice. He's very diplomatic. The way he speaks and stuff, he'd be like, okay, da da da, da 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 da. That's how he talk. I was like, I just talked to mommy or whatever, and I just thought I'd let you know. I was like, I'm pregnant. And my brother paused and he was like, okay. That's how he sounded. He was like, okay. I was like, yeah, you know, and he was quiet too. I was like, okay, April Fool. I'm like, the good thing of this whole story is it was received better than I thought it would be. So nobody was like, nobody said anything like, I don't know. I guess they trust me enough to say, well, good God, if this is what she gonna do, she gonna do it. Because that's me. I was gonna call my father, but I ain't had a boss to do it. So I was like, nah, it would have been nice to hear his reaction, but I didn't get it. Hi, Daddy. Love you. Okay, so yeah, whatever. April Fool's Day. Anyway, moving forward. Y'all remember the movie Mask? It came out in 1985. I was 10 years old. So, the movie, it was a great movie. It was really good. Like Cher, she played Rusty. The lead was Eric Schultz, Stoltz. And his name was Rocky in the movie. And then Cher's love interest was Sam Elliott. He played Gar, Gar. Anyway, so back in the 80s, we finally got cable. And so, you had cable or whatever. I think we had HBO and that's it. Oh, no, we had Cinemax too. Y'all know about that Cinemax at 2 a.m. All of us kids was in the basement watching Cinemax, and somebody responsible had the remote to turn the channel if we heard footsteps. Soft, soft porn. It wasn't hardcore. Cinemax. Y'all know about Cinemax. But the first soft porn photo we saw, because y'all was there too, Lakaya, DeMar, Nika, Eric, Tessie, Marky, all y'all, we was all in that basement. The woman of Chatterley, the women of Chatterley Place or something like that. The Women of Chatterley Lane or something like that. But it was like this little, not, like, not where like, it was like I don't want to say convent, like nuns. What you call it? Compound. It was like this small little compound. I don't know, in France, whatever. It's so pretty and flowers and stuff like that. The something lady of Chatterley Lane or something like that. And one of them was a straight up and she was screwing everybody, but it wasn't hardcore. It was, might be a little breast or something like that, but it was implied. It was very much implied. All right. So anyway, I didn't went off on a tangent. So back to cable. So we finally got cable, and back then, they played the same movies over and over again. And it was cool because your favorite movies were played over and over again every weekend and stuff like that. So Mask will come on like every weekend. Great movie. Let's take a look at and it was the Elephant Man was it was kind of like, okay, it's a whole history to that, and I don't Wikipedia in them. I don't feel like it. I really don't. But like, so let me get this shutter. All right, so this is the real Elephant Man, Joseph Merrick. Okay. 1889. He was born August 5th, 1862. So this portrait was in 1889. But he was born in Leicester, Leicester, in England. And it said he died on April 11th, 1890 at about the age of 27 or so. Real quick, because I'm not going through this. So this is kind of how he was kind of looking or whatever. Excuse the paper. But, so yeah. And moving forward to Mask, M-A-S-K. Yeah. He was known for his physical deformities or whatever. He was first exhibited at a freak show under the stage name, The Elephant Man, and went to live at the London hospital. After meeting with a surgeon and stuff like that, despite his challenges, Merrick created detailed artistic works such as intricate models of buildings and became well known in London society. So, back to the movie Mask. They played it over and over and over again. I love it. I want to see it now as an adult because I know there's a lot of stuff I missed out. However, Eric Schultz, it was a good movie. So he played Rocky. That's it was so many movies about this, plays and stuff like that. Now, Eric Schultz, because I was thinking to myself, what is he doing now? So that just led me down this whole thing. So Eric Schultz, he has been in everything, and I can't even go into this packet is so thick. He has a great body of work. He did everything, but the weird part, I want to know, like, what does he really, really look like? Sometimes actors, when they're in makeup and stuff like that, I'll see him later and you won't know. Let me see. You won't know. This is what he looks like. You won't really know. Uh-oh. So that's what he looks like. And he's been in everything. Been in everything. Everything. Look it up. So anyway, back to the Mask. Eric Schultz, that guy right there. Fun fact, I didn't know that he was supposed to play Marty McFly in Back to the Future. And he got halfway through the filming, and I saw the interview with him. And it's not a current interview. You could tell it's dated or whatever. But he said he got halfway through, and he said the director of Back to the Future, that's another film that they played over and over and over again. Great movie. My brother loved that movie. They played that over and over again. Great movie or whatever. So DeLoreanRental.com. That's where I saw the interview. Because, the DeLorean, everybody loved that car and stuff like that. So DeLorean, you can rent one if you want to. I don't know the prices or whatever, but DeLorean Rental did a quick little piece on the interview with Eric Schultz. And he said the director fired him halfway through filming because, quote unquote, this is what Eric said. He said the director said that he wasn't given the performance that he expected. And they were asking him, so how you feel about that and stuff? And he said he was devastated. And he said he went back to acting school and finished some more and then went to France. And he did 2 movies that really changed his life and stuff like that. So he carried on or whatever. But then I found a quick interview where Michael J. Fox, who is in Back to the Future, that we all know. But Michael J. Fox came in the middle and they had to like redo it or whatever. So when they interviewed Michael J. Fox, he said that from his perspective, the director was very sincere and he was nice. And he spoke highly of Eric Schultz. He didn't say anything bad about him or nothing like that. And Michael J. Fox said it made him feel good. And it made him want to do his best to be in the film and stuff. And so that was a good way that they handled that. They didn't bash him or whatever. So that's what that. I have something really heavy here, and it's not the time or the place. But that's about it. Let me see. Back to Joseph Carey Merrick. That's about it. I'm gonna get off. Oh, here's another one. Yeah. Oh, I want to know what is this condition? Is there here's another one of him. Yeah. I don't know. All right. Okay. As Merrick was becoming a greater financial burden on his family, his father eventually secured him a hawker's license, enabling him to earn money selling items from the Harbor Sherry Shop, HABERDASHERY shop, door to door. This endeavor was unsuccessful because Merrick's facial deformities rendered his speech increasingly unintelligible, and prospective customers reacted with horror to his physical appearance. People refused to open the door for him, and they not only stared at him but followed him out of curiosity. Merrick failed to make enough money as a hawker, HAWKER, to support himself. On returning home one day in 1877, he was severely beaten by his father and left home for good. Okay, so it just keeps going and going. I'm giggling because, what is that? Oh, it's a picture of he wore this thing over his head. He wore a cap and hood for public discretion. All right, it just goes on and on. But that's it. I'm thinking about an episode of Martin where Martin and Gina thought they won the lottery. But they had to split the pie with a whole bunch of people. So I think all they got is like $200 or whatever. But before they found that out, Martin went out and bought all this stuff. So the funny part is, Gina was like, so did you call everybody? Oh, let me get on Merrick's death. Merrick's death was ruled accidental, and the certified cause of death was asphyxia, resulting from the weight of his head as he lay down, just like in the movie Mask. Yeah, he died in his sleep. After performing an autopsy, Treves, Treves, determined that Merrick had died of a dislocated neck, which likely severed his vertebrae arteries. Knowing that Merrick had always slept sitting upright out of necessity, Treves, I guess that's a doctor that was dealing with him, concluded that Merrick must have, quote unquote, made the experiment attempting to sleep lying down, quote unquote, like other people. And that was depicted in the movie. If I'm not mistaken, I have to watch that again. But so don't quote me on that. I don't know. Treves took plaster casts of Merrick's head and limbs and dissected the body, taking skin samples and mounting them. And they mounted the skeleton. Merrick's soft tissue was buried in the City of London cemetery except for his skin samples, which were later lost during the Second World War. The skeleton is still included in the pathology collection of the Royal London Hospital in Whitechapel, which merged with the Medical College of St. Bartholomew's Hospital in 1995 to form the School of Medicine of Dentistry in London's Queen Mary University. Merrick's mounted skeleton is not on public display. So back on Martin, when they thought they won the lottery, and Gina came on and was like, babe, were you able to get everything back? And Martin was like, yeah, I took back the, all this expensive stuff. And you know how Martin be acting or whatever. He was all distraught. He was like, yeah. And, I called, they took back the Elephant Man's bones. And I think I laughed for an hour when he said that because the way his delivery was awesome. But the way he said it, you know how Martin be acting, he scratched his chin like, I did that. I returned the elephant. Martin jumped out the window and bought the Elephant Man's bones. That's how much money he thought he had. Too funny. I think I've seen every episode. Anyway, I had to sneak this in before 12 a.m. It's April Fool's Day. And that's it. My name is Erica LaShawn. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.